Greetings, everybody. This is Roger Thunderhands. Let's talk about why America will never be great again. As a matter of fact, let's talk about why America has never been great. It all started a long time ago with the invasion of this land by the people from Europe, okay, the Mayflower and that whole crew. So what is this country built on? It's built on genocide, murder, and stealing people's land and resources. Now, that saying, let's make America great again, is a political slogan. Just like the last president talked about change you can believe in. Neither one of these slogans are something that you can bank on or put your money on, because it just isn't going to happen. What America really is a criminal enterprise. America is a felonious criminal nation, thieving nation, murderous nation. When you look at the news, you see all kinds of things coming down every day that are frankly depressing and demoralizing, and it's meant to be that way. I've talked about these things like false flags and orchestrated events and covert ops and black ops being now perpetuated on this latest breed of American citizen or citizens of this land, just like it was perpetuated upon the citizens of this land originally. The indigenous people were murdered, framed, stole from, and what's changed? Well, nothing except the fact that America, see, where did that name come from? Where did it come from? It was a name that was put on this land, which was really originally called Turtle Island. Let's go back to that name, which indicates some kind of harmony with nature. Harmony with nature. And that's what the indigenous people of this land were, in harmony with nature. America, supposedly, if my memory serves me correct, came from the name of Americano Vespucci, which was some Italian cartographer, map maker, who probably plotted the course for Columbus to take to come over here and massacre and kill innocents. So what's the difference? What is the difference today? Is there any difference today? Well, no, there isn't. Because the American government, backed by the American people, and I say backed by the American people because unless the American people do something about it, unless they do something about their government, well, they are part and parcel responsible, just as responsible. Complacency doesn't cut it. You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And if you don't know what the problem is, well, it's about time you educated yourself as to what it is, instead of being complacent. If you live in a land, you better know what the hell the land represents and what the government represents. Otherwise, you're part of the problem. As I watch the news and all the shit that's coming down with the, again, the orchestrated events to create chaos, and you have them every other week now. The Vegas thing was an eye-opener, should have been an eye-opener. And that will fall by the wayside just like every other event or incident or shooting or supposed quote-unquote terrorist attack, mostly orchestrated by our government, the government of America, the American government. So when you see these things daily, what does it do? Well, it has a demoralizing effect, and that's exactly what they want it to be. It's what they're perpetrating now is something that they've perpetrated against other countries for a long time. And again, the original inhabitants of this land being the original country, because they came from Europe. So what do? They keep perpetrating this whole felonious, criminal, murderous aspect of killing innocents for land and resources. And that's what they're doing now. They've done it in Syria, which is the latest debacle. They've done it in Libya. They've done it in Iraq. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, mostly Middle Eastern countries, because that's what they want to do. They want to grab the resources of those countries. And they want to demonize anybody that interferes with their plan. And that's why there's a big push against Russia and Putin, who probably, if you really want to know the truth about it, is one of the only nations that has any kind of astute, intelligent leadership. And maybe you can throw in with that a culture, okay, that is at least kindred to their own people and protective of their own people, and have some supreme fighters, and always have had since day one. So that might be the only country that is not going to get overtaken, that and China. But when you see the day after day headlines, and most of the headlines, okay, are from the mainstream media, who lie about everything. They're it's like the Ministry of Truth in George Orwell's 1984. Their only truth is from the Ministry of Truth. And the Ministry of Truth, the Ministry of Truth's mouthpiece is the mainstream media, who parrots the official line or whatever line they want you to believe, okay? Now, we have the alternative media, which is YouTube and YouTubers and people that are, some of the people on there that have dissenting opinion, or let's say opinion that requires debate, or let's say an opinion that instigates debate, investigation of facts. So lately I've been seeing these incidents like the Las Vegas shooting, which was a black ops, covert ops, multiple shooter affair. I live just outside of Vegas, so I know a little bit more than some other people might know about that. The locals around here, as a matter of fact, know a little bit more about that than most people in the nation. Got to be pretty close to something for you to be concerned enough to delve beyond the official story and dig into the facts of a situation. Now, is this anything new? We've had shootings at Sandy Hook and numerous places, the marathon bombing. We've had all kinds of suspicious events that if you delve into it further, you find out that there's a lot of problems with the official story. The government can't be trusted. There's just one shooting after another. And am I against guns? No, because it's the American government terrorists, okay, that are organizing these shooting events and organizing these massacres and organizing trucks running over people. So am I against having self-protection against these murderous American thugs that are really covert operators, mercenaries? More people should pick that up and learn how to use it, okay? That would be a very smart idea. America will never be great again because it is a felonious, criminal, murderous nation based on murder, based on genocide, based on criminality, based on torture. Does it get any worse than this? So as you see events unfold day to day, day after day, you realize, I mean, if you don't realize by now, you never will probably. And if you don't look at political events, and if you don't look at current events, and if you don't accept the face value of the mainstream media, see, it's even hard to determine among the alternative media now, because what they're doing now is they're censoring YouTube, and they're censoring, and I mean censoring big time, taking down channels, taking down dissenting opinion. And not only are they doing that, but they're inserting trolls or let's say fake YouTube channels with people that spin all kinds of weird friggin' ideas that really aren't based on facts. So they've co-opted the alternative media slowly. They're integrating into it. And then they got their propaganda ministry, or their ministry of truth, parrots in the mainstream media. So I was thinking the other day about how much I wanted to back off from watching any more stuff, or let's say, yes, I will keep informed, but just leaving it at that, keeping informed about what's going on, so I can see how close the freight train's getting to nailing us. But that's what you want to do, people, is just keep informed, but not delve into, don't listen to anything you're told and believe half of what you see. And if you don't, well, you're just, you're a fool, basically. What you have to realize is that maybe the events that are unfolding have a reason. Everything is for a reason, okay? And so as these events whip up and get more and more treacherous and more evil and more murderous and more chaotic, because see, chaos is part of the plan. Chaos is part of the plan. Controlled chaos, okay? They control the chaos. They administer the drug of fear. They get you addicted. They get you hyped up. They get you in a situation where through these different events that they perpetrate, they get you looking over your shoulder, and they get you fearful. And they get you away from concentrating on your own life and concentrating on your own health mental health particularly. And so the only thing that you can do to protect yourself from that is not to expose yourself to it daily, okay? Keeping on top of things doesn't necessarily mean you have to get into the deep, dark, day after day, talking head, spewing garbage bullshit that they keep laying on people. And if you notice, it doesn't take long to go from one event to another. Like you got the Las Vegas shooting, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden you got the truck guy in New York, the terrorist in New York, probably another false flag. Don't even want to look into it. Don't even want to speculate because I already know. I don't have to speculate. I already know. And then you got the mass shooting at the church, and but see, this is something that is like a stencil, you know, that they just keep repeating over and over and over. And one event supersedes the next, so that the latest event gets you all excited. And what happens? Well, you get excited about the latest event, and the previous event kind of fades into the woodwork, and they get, you know, they complete their agenda of fear and control and all their little stupid bullshit games that these government people play, and politicians too. Politicians are not the answer. I don't care who it is. They make promises, and then they renege on their promises. They lie, basically. And I don't want to hear anything about, oh, well, the reason that this person didn't keep his promises is because of this, and that. You're either a leader, okay, and I've seen leaders in the indigenous nation, people like Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull and Chief Joseph and Geronimo and on and on and on. Real leaders protect their nation. Real leaders protect their tribe. Real leaders protect their people. So what happens when you don't protect the people if you're a tribal chief? Well, you're out of there. But most tribal chiefs were in there because they were a trusted people. They were a trusted person. They had a track record. Everybody knew them for many, many, many years. And so nobody got into the position of being a chief of a tribe, a tribal chieftain, a warrior, unless they earned that right. So what do we got today? We got a bunch of people in suits and ties, okay, the suits, who get in there by spending a lot of money and spinning a lot of yarns and lies about what they have done or what they will do. Right now, what I'm seeing is a divided, quote-unquote, America. There's no continuity. There's no unity. Division has been caused by those money interests and New World Order people who have interests to play God. That's what's happening in the world right now. And so I haven't been doing a lot of videos. I used to do videos getting into the particulars of a case and what really happened, and maybe some real investigative facts about what's going on with a particular shooting or a particular event. But why waste my time when we all know you can just bank on it, you can count on it, that it's all being perpetrated or orchestrated or allowed to happen by these so-called people in America the government, the police state, that are supposedly here to protect people, and all these rules and laws, gun control and the Patriot Act and the Office of Homeland Security, well, they're here to protect us, right? They're here to protect the people. Wrong. They're not here to protect the people. They're here to enslave the people and murder the people. So they make people believe that they're the good guys when in fact they are the outlaws. And people better wake up. That's all I got to say. America will never be great again. It's got too much karma. It's got too much felonious background and criminal background to be rehabilitated. What do they do with murderers, this country? What do they do with people that murder people? Well, they put them in prison and they don't even, they wash their hands of the whole thing and say, well, he can't be rehabilitated and so we'll just gas him or whatever. Well, that's basically what we're looking at with America. Can it be rehabilitated? Can the past be erased? They're ex-felons or they're current felons, and if they weren't doing any more felonies, well, they'd be ex-felons, wouldn't they? And do you think by any stretch of the imagination that this shit's going to be turned around by some guy in office or anybody that claims to be some kind of savior or that they're going to rebuild America? Now, do I personally have anything against the current president? I don't really. He may have good intentions, but good intentions quickly fall by the wayside when you come into contact with who's really running the government. You don't have that control over what's going on. They don't have that control. The government is operated by special interests, Zionists particularly, and other forms of despicable people like George Soros and Hillary Clinton and any politician for that matter. Let's put it this way. If there's politicians that are crooked and murderous, and we know they are by their track record, well, then do you think anybody's going to be able to overcome them? Or it's almost like if you can't beat them, join them. Every person that gets into office sooner or later bends to some kind of pressure. So don't count on anybody saving America or making America great again. America will never be great, and just like the last president, there will never be change that you can believe in. That's the facts, okay? As long as the people that are in control are in control. That's the facts, people. And if you don't believe that, then I got some swamp land down in Florida that I'll sell you. Actually, I got some desert land out here that I'll sell you that doesn't have a well on it, or, you know. I'm glad that I'm out of the city. It gives me a chance for me and my significant other to kick back and look at the situation, because we don't go into the cities except to get groceries. And so when you go into the cities, the vibe in there, especially in Las Vegas after the shooting, is one of paranoia, one of chaos. And all cities are starting to get like this. You know, no city is in America is immune. So basically, her and I have decided to look at the situation, see it for what it is, and back off from letting the propaganda of ministry or the ministry of truth, the constant caterwauling and the constant letdown, okay, affect us. And the only way that you can do that is to withdraw from it and try to have a peaceful life with nature, getting next to nature and getting next to what's really real. Just like my mate told me last night, come out on the back porch here and look up at the moon and the stars and the desert landscape, and compare that, the majesty of that, the breathtaking, awe-inspiring messages from nature, compare that with the messages that you get from the sewer. Okay, and that's what America has become. It has become a sewer. It has become a place of desolation. It has become a place of agony. It has become a place of torment, okay, and slavery. So do you want to be a part of that? Well, that's up to you. But you should be aware, okay, that as long as you go along with the program and as long as you don't compartmentalize and separate yourself from all this negative energy, then it's going to affect you. It's going to take up your time. It's going to take up your emotions. It's going to take up your life. You want that to happen? Well, then just keep partaking of the lies that are perpetrated upon you daily by the mass media and by society in large. Forget the media. The way people act shows their true colors. There is no kindness anymore. There's paranoia. I won't say there's no kindness, but I'm saying that it's harder to find kindness. It's harder to find compassion. It's harder to find kindred friends. So what do you do? Well, I can see that things are coming to a head. I mean, anybody in their right mind can look at prophecy, all kinds of Hopi prophecy, biblical prophecy, and you can see that things are whipping up into this this high-fevered critical mass, ready to explode situation. And so the only thing that you can do as far as your own personal self is to look out for you and yours, to look to take care of yourself and to take care of your family, to embark upon a regime of training, if you will, mental training, to strengthen your mind, meditation, communing with nature, being proficient and in shape and being proficient in the martial arts and maybe in the shooting arts, being proficient at a lot of things that indicate that you might be self-sufficient or might be able to be self-sufficient. Getting in a situation where you're in a valley or a rural area, like I am, so that when the shit hits the fan, you're outside of the situation. But until then, enjoy life. Until then, yeah, you have to, and I'll just speak for myself, but I have to keep tabs on, I have to be aware of what's going on in my surroundings, but I don't have to be in it. Okay, I can be of the world but not in it, or in the world but not of it, however you want to look at it. You have to cop the Taoist philosophy of letting the world form around you, but not really having any part of it. Matters will take care of themselves. There's nobody, there's no man, okay? There's no man, human on earth that's going to solve this problem. There's no group of humans that it's going to solve this problem. What is going to happen is it's going to take its natural course. When you perpetuate violence, violence begets violence, and it just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger until civilization falls. Or civilization falls and gets a restart. With every ending, there's a beginning. So what you should do, people, is use your mental facility and your spiritual facilities to envision, or maybe to bring about, envision something being brought about quickly. Because I know it's getting real old. It's wearing on everybody, and it's just going to get worse before it gets better. So I'm saying be prepared. Make yourself prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually, and emotionally, to where you're self-sufficient. You have somebody that in your life that you love and care about, and maybe some close friends, and those are going to be few and far between because not too many people understand what's going on. And you don't have time to educate them. People need to educate themselves. People need to band into small groups, families, the family of man, and talk about things in a healthy way, not moan and groan and get all excited, and but be keeping a calm, cool head about everything. Using meditation techniques, using breathing techniques, using martial arts philosophy, using ancient philosophies, so that you can see the big picture. And the big picture is what's coming down is completely out of control now. There's no controlling it. You're not going to control it. You just got to let it play out to where it's going to go. And you have to try to stay out of harm's way. It's like when a surfer's paddling out to catch a big wave. When he sees a couple of big waves coming, what does he do? Well, he rolls under and holds on to his board and lets the water flow right over him. You have to take the path of least resistance. And that means being aware of three things. America will never be great again. America is a felonious, criminal, murderous state. It's a police state. So you have to be careful when you go out and go to the store and go here and go there or go into town. You have to be cognizant of the fact that you're living in a prison of sorts, okay? Yeah, you have freedom and you can look around and you can see the mountains and you can get back to your place in the mountains and you can stay relatively unscathed, but you should never forget that it's a police state, and you should look at it just like there's barbed wire all around the borders of America. And the sooner you do that, the better off you're going to be. Who knows how it's going to play out? Will it play out through the people having enough, throwing a fit and having a revolution, which is their right, and fighting back and getting rid of the bums and the psychopaths and the pill poppers and whoever else is running this country? They're deluded is what they are. And when you look at the leaders and representatives of this nation as, like, say, and I always use Putin as an example, and hey, why not? I mean, since they're demonizing Putin, guess why? Guess why they're demonizing Putin in Russia? Because they're the only ones that got their shit together. Any leader that can sit before a panel of people and talk for 3 hours coherently and intellectually and answer every question they shoot at them. Compare that with the idiots that use sound bites and teleprompters and one-liners to run the agenda and to let people know that they're really educated. Not. They're not. So you have to look at what you have and what you don't have, and you'll have to look at what can happen and what might not happen or what could happen. You have to look at the big picture, but don't get involved in it too much, okay? Because that's part of their plan too. The big part of their plan is for you to be anxious, for you to get involved in the day-to-day chaos, for you to get involved in the madness so that you don't know whether you're coming or going. Wait a minute, I hear this story and then I don't hear this story and then this story's different, and wow, man, I don't know what to believe, and don't believe anything. That's your best bet. Don't believe anything, just observe and look at what's going on. Don't get caught up in the mayhem, because that's part of their plan. Controlled chaos, make your mind anxious, make your mind fearful, turn one against the other, make the world seem surrealistic, the Twilight Zone, so that you don't know whether you're coming or going. So what you need to do is let go of it, get into meditation, center yourself, and support each other. Whatever you do, you can support each other, and in small groups, like the group that I formed called the Campfire Council. It's important to have that bonding and that strengthening effect, and use the internet for that kind of thing, and don't get hung up on all the bullshit that you're going to get caught up in. Be aware that not everybody out there has their shit together on the internet, and not everybody out there is your friend, and not every don't think that just because you have 4,000 friends on Facebook, or that you have a huge following on LinkedIn, that you're in with a bunch of people that really care about you. Better to form a small group. So anyway, just reflecting on my current situation or state of mind in regards to how I feel about what's going on, and maybe passing a little bit of that wisdom on to you. So I'll leave it there today. Think about some of the things I said, and come to your own conclusions if you need to, but always keep your eyes wide open. Adios.